Podcasting 2.0 for March 4th, 2022, episode 76, Pining for PodPing. And a whole lot more, of course. If only we could be live. I'd love to do it live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the official board meeting for Podcasting 2.0. Everything happening at podcastindex.org with the namespace and, of course, all the brilliance that flows through podcastindex.social. I'm Adam Curry here in the heart of the Texas Hill Country, and in Alabama, my confidant and podcasting debutante, my friend on the other end. Please say hello to Mr. Dave Jones.
What up, world traveler, podcaster, everywhere guy?
Yeah, hey, I am everywhere guy. Yeah, dude, I went up to Beck's place, Glenn Beck's studio complex in Irving near Dallas.
Yeah, I know nothing about this because by law, by fiat, I'm not allowed to listen to any other Adam Curry property until after this show.
Yes,
so I do not. All I know is a text from you saying I'm on my I'm in Dallas for Glenn Beck, and I was like, okay, all right, I'll wait. I want to hear about it when you get back.
Dude, I was really, well, first of all, I stayed with my buddy Vic, so it was a lot of fun because he's one of my friends from Jersey. We've known each other for over 30 years. And so I stayed at his house and he went with me. But this complex. Have you ever been to Burbank, studios?
No.
Have you ever been to Universal Studios?
Yeah.
Okay, so those really, really tall buildings, he has two of those.
Good grief.
Yeah, and yes, good grief is right. And they're filled with studios, all kinds of, just really impressive stuff. Memorabilia, movie things, like large displays of things, and it's just wall-to-wall technology, huge studios, multiple sets. It's like, what the hell? And I really didn't do my homework on them, but the Blaze, they got close to 1 million subscribers and paying subscribers like $100 a year.
Ooh.
Yeah, let that settle in for a second.
Yeah. The 100, you can build a lot of studio space with $100 million.
Well, and he has a similar
year.
He has a similar building next door, which is, I think, the tax strategy, where he has a museum.
And a museum to himself?
Yeah, well, it's not really open to the public yet, but it's all, long rows of tables and documentation. He has these smart kids running around who know everything, who are curating and documenting. It's like, well, here's Christopher Reeve's Superman suit. Here's a C-3PO. Here's the original R2-D2. Oh, and over here, grab a hold of this. Yeah, that's the handle to Abraham Lincoln's door, his front door. So give that a good rub. And now here's the Mary Todd Lincoln's dress that she wore when she buried Abe. Here's the Old Testament in the original box. Here's we think is the first electric chair. Here is an original French guillotine. Here's Roosevelt's original wheelchair.
Did you say the original Old Testament in a box?
Yeah, yes, I know. In the original box, in the original
shrink wrap. It's on the shrink wrap.
No, in a wooden box. In the original wooden box, it's huge,
unopened.
No, it's huge volumes. I said, hey, let's do an unboxing of that shit right now. That's cool. But really personable guy. He's my age, and we had a really nice conversation, hour and a half. Which of course was, now he invited me because my talking about ESG and environmental social governance and how that relates to the banking system. And I have a rap now on that, I got a thing that's kind of down. I only have to adjust a little bit. And he wrote this book, The Great Reset, where he explains these things as well. And that's the one thing I always liked about Beck is when he was on Fox, that's the last time I really watched him. This blackboard, and he'd show you how everything was connected. And it always ended with George Soros somehow,
Yeah, always. Every time.
So it was nice. Yeah.
I haven't heard of Glenn Beck's show since he was on, I don't know. Is he still even on talk radio?
Yeah. He still does a 3-hour show. Yeah. The show is, it's like talk radio. You can't listen to it. Too many ads.
This is probably I haven't listened to him in probably, it's probably close to 20 years. It's been a long time.
Yeah. Well, this particular episode drops on Saturday.
Are are you on the Blaze thing, or is this just a podcast?
They put it on Blaze TV yesterday, so that's exclusive for members, and then they put it out as, I presume, a video on YouTube. Oh, that's on YouTube and on podcast on Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's video. You're on video.
Yes.
Not your favorite.
Not my favorite, but nice set. That's the dark room with the two hanging microphones that he has. The two white microphones. Maybe you've seen it. Anyway, and we talked about podcasting 2.0. Yeah, of course.
Did you?
Oh yeah. No, I plugged everything. Man, I plugged MoFax. I plugged No Agenda. Plugged Dvorak specifically because he gets all bent out of shape if I don't mention him.
You have an index card or something like in your pocket where you're like crossing them off or putting a check mark. You got to get this.
Dude, I have it in my head. Then I plugged Food Intelligence. Texas Slim's Beef Initiative. Oh yeah. No, I plug all my boys. Yeah, of course. Of course. Awesome. That's what I do. This is why I'm here.
Yeah.
That's
plugger for hire.
I'm a bit of a plugger. So yeah, it was quite enjoyable. I'm sure I'll be invited back on for something else or whatever. We'll see. Quite the operation up there. I don't think people realize just how big that is.
What's the museum about, though? I don't understand why there's it just seems like a general museum. I would have figured, you said museum, I'm thinking, okay, museum to himself, or something like that. Like
right now, it's he calls it a museum. It's not a museum yet. They're starting to lay it all out and stuff, and I'm not quite sure. What I'm pretty sure of, it's a tax strategy.
Tax strategy.
Yeah, if you have $100 million,
so it's a nonprofit. Okay.
However it works, and it's fun. This is like people with lots of money do like collect cars. And you put that in a museum. There's all kinds of reasons to do this.
Gotcha.
It doesn't matter, but I'm sure he'll open some of that up to the public at some point.
It's like the Hobby Lobby guy with the Museum of the Bible or whatever. It's like,
but imagine a Costco.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That size
how
building.
Big it is?
That's the size of the building. Mm-hmm.
It's a Costco that sells Mary Todd Lincoln's cufflinks or whatever.
It's like he had a compass. Like the two pointy things compass, not a directional compass.
Yeah, like scribe.
Yes,
scribe
exactly. And he's telling this story about how he had it in his pocket one day and he was just kind of rubbing it, and when he was a little nervous about something.
Okay.
And as he's telling the story, he says this was George Washington's compass. And he hands it to me. He said, now take that in your hand. Here, now rub over that spot. He said, do you feel that? I said, oh, yeah, it's like it's worn down. He says, yeah, I have a feeling that George Washington was rubbing that very spot.
Jeez,
that was kind of cool. And then I said, can I sit in the electric chair? He says, no, you can't do that. Damn.
Don't touch.
That would have been cool.
That's fine.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. I have no idea the reach of Beck's programming. I don't know if we'll get people showing up. I hope so.
Well, that's kind of an interesting idea. You don't know the reach. I was listening to Buzzcast on the way home from lunch, and they were talking about TikTok and how some of their videos had gotten 1,000 views, other ones had gotten 50,000 views, and I was just thinking the whole time, how do you ever know that that's real?
Oh, you don't. Of course not. You have no idea.
It could be completely completely fake and made up numbers.
Yeah.
It's just a side thought.
Of course not. You have no idea.
It's a huge revelation I've just come to that social media viewer numbers are fake. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is when it comes to reach, like you go on Rogan, a lot of people show up from Rogan. A lot of people have heard about me through my Rogan appearances. Megyn Kelly, zero, nothing, not a single thing. And a lot of people watch it. I know a lot of people watch that and listen to her. Tom Woods, lots of people show up. Lots of podcasting 2.0. Hey, what is this? So what are you guys doing? He's kind of the libertarian guy.
So there's an audience quality that gets reflected with the crossover. Would you say that?
Wait, say that again?
So there's the actual. You can just measure raw numbers. Say, okay, well, if you imagine this world where you could measure every single person that saw it, and you can say, okay, well, there's really and truly this many people. Well, then there's this that doesn't necessarily translate into actual doesn't mean that they're really interested in following through on something.
No, that's totally dependent upon the audience, what type of audience. And I can understand where Megyn Kelly audience may not be that interested.
Yeah, no, I mean, if they were more interested, they probably might be more interested in Sharon Osbourne than you.
Yes, that's why I got bumped. Thanks for rubbing it in my face.
No, that's not a knock on you. That's a knock
I
on
got
their
bumped
audience.
for it. That was my first appearance. But I'm just there's a lot of incoming requests. I'm trying to pick and choose as much, as smartly as possible. I love doing the Bitcoin podcasts because, they already kind of get it.
You can, so should we save up, have a long-term goal to save up 3 Bitcoins so that we can become a Venezuelan citizen?
Oh, yes, of course. We're going to go.
Yeah, Podcast LLC.
Yeah, we'll just move the whole LLC. Yeah, sure. Yeah. No, I'm all in. But, we have to have 6 if we're both moving.
Yeah, because companies are people too. I'm just thinking we make the
company the person, make the person El Salvadorian. Yeah. Okay, no, I'm all for that.
Yeah, and then we'll just have housing down there that we visit. Yeah.
And the way to help us reach this lofty goal is by getting a new podcast app at newpodcastapps.com. And boost us. We need to boost us to El Salvador.
And sometime around when we're 80 or in our late 80s. We'll be able to make this happen.
I was looking the first thing I look at in the morning is podcastindex.social. In fact, that's, how your browser prioritizes what you look at. Yeah, it's always number one. You just see what's going on. There's interesting stuff happening. You seem to be doing a lot of shoring up of stuff.
Yeah, I'm in cleanup mode, sort of. I'm testing out, and it's not, so far this has been it's not working.
What's not working? Your cleanup project?
No, this thing I'm about to tell you is not working.
Oh, okay.
What I've been trying, so I've got multiple priorities. So I've got the namespace, the index, what you might call ancillary software like Helipad, and then the podcast. So I'm trying to figure, there's really probably one more is the social. What I'm trying to do is separate and have 1 week dedicated to namespace. This is per month, because task switching just sucks me dry.
Right.
I can't, if I have to do 5 different things in one day that are in different spheres of, you need
headspace for it. Like if you're doing lightning shit, you're in a different headspace.
Yeah.
I totally get that. I have that problem too with all the coding I do. It's really annoying.
Yes, I know that about you. Yeah, especially between languages.
Oh my goodness, the switch is so hard.
Yeah, and so I'm trying to figure out if I can do dedicate a week each month to namespace, the next week to the API, the next week to the index, and the next week to, something like other software, other projects.
How's that working out for you?
Oh, it's a disaster. It's not working at all. It's a complete disaster. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm not laughing at it. It's I knew that was the answer somehow.
Yeah, I started the week this is namespace week, and I haven't looked at the namespace in 2 days now. So I'm
this is what I have with to-do lists. Whenever a to-do list is definitely the place where tasks go to die. And they just hang there and they sit there, and then I'll start a new to-do list.
Because once you put it on the to-do list, you feel like you've accomplished
something. Yes, exactly. This is exactly the problem. Right. Okay. Well, how can I make that easier for you, Dave?
No, it's nothing. I don't think it's anything you can do. I just have to actually follow through on my plans.
Well, I mean, you have read the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People?
No, hell no, I've not read that.
You've never looked at GTD?
Get things done?
Yeah.
No, I don't know what that is either.
Get things done. I mean, I follow the get things done method with the Freedom Controller with outlines.
So, I mean, what is it? What is GTD?
It's just a method of having 3 basic buckets of things you're going to prioritize, and some very simple rules. And then, with if you combine that kind of with the 7 habits of highly effective people, it's kind of a toolkit of a work methodology. You can take little bits and pieces of it, but personally, getting things done, and you can there's all kinds of outliner based things that'll do it, but the Freedom Controller is perfect for that.
So the thing that I most need to get, that's a dangerous word.
Yeah.
The thing that is annoying me the most right now is the aggregator. So the aggregator is split into 2 parts. You got a puller and a parser. So you pull, and they run parallel.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 8 of them currently. They are all pulling feeds and parsing them in parallel.
Right.
The puller part of that is called aggravate, and it is a Node.js script.
Yeah.
And it's a big mess. It was written back at the time of Node 12. And I've been carrying it forward. We're now on like Node 17 or something. It's like 5 versions back.
Yeah.
And since then, the main library, request library, HTTP puller library that it uses is just called request. That has been deprecated. So it's no longer even in active development.
Yeah.
So bug fixes don't get done. It's slowly breaking over time. It is slowly getting more and more unable to handle modern quirks within protocol handshakes.
It's got crud.
Yeah, and so it doesn't. I've been noticing more and more TLS 1.3 issues where it just can't.
Oh, you had one the other day where someone's couldn't authenticate with their. Wasn't that it? I saw something come into the email, and you had authentication issues.
There was something with and I still haven't figured this out. It's something buried deep in this library where there's one feed out there that just won't. It doesn't seem to SSL handshake correctly, and I can't figure it out. And I've been sort of battling this for a few days, and so I've started laying out a new puller, and so I've got it wireframed, and it's a Rust app and that kind of thing. So I feel like that's the direction I want to go, and it's working well so far. But now what I need to do is figure out a way. The conceptual work for this is going to be how to make it not touch the database if all possible. What I really want it to do is just pull the list of feeds from the database database initially, and then never touch it again. And then let the parser take over, parse out everything, and let it update the database. Because currently what's happening is the puller and the parser are both touching the database a bunch. So if it goes out there to pull a feed and it ends up with a 301 redirect, then it stops, updates the database to show that it's a 301, then tries to follow the redirect, then comes back and if that worked, then it updates the database with a success time code and all this kind of stuff. There's all this stuff in order to keep if last modified since headers and all this kind of stuff in shape. So what I really want this new version to do is essentially pull the feed or attempt to describe all the things that happened in that attempt into the feed file that has the content. And then
the logic is in there to even know if the parser has to get anything.
Right. And then the parser can pick it up and either parse it or not and update the database accordingly with what it found in the file.
You know what you need? You need an intern.
An intern? I did.
You do. You need an intern. You need an intern to help you with your busy schedule. Can I find an intern for you?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Can I pay them nothing and boss them around and make them feel like crap?
As I said, an intern. This is college credit, kid. What's your problem? This is experience. This is in fact you should be paying us.
Yeah, exposure. This is
exposure. It's exposure. It's good for your exposure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what I'm looking at.
Now, PodPing is kind of outside of this, but the more PodPing, the less we need to rely on this type of system, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, if I could talk this guy I know, Dan Benjamin, into supporting PodPing, then my life would be even easier. He'd save me like hours a week.
Let's go find this guy. I saw him show up in a press release today, or yesterday, I think. Yeah, and I'm like, what is he doing? And why hasn't he requested our permission to go and do this before he went off on this adventure? Welcome to the board meeting, a board member we've had here before. We always appreciate him coming by. Fellow Texan, ladies and gentlemen, say hello to Mr. Dan Benjamin.
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks. It's always honor to be here. I appreciate it.
That's right. Hi, guys. Like, smash that like button. Subscribe.
There you go.
You're the Joan Rivers of Podcasting 2.0, Dan.
Yeah. Oh, I am. Wonderful. I'll take it. Yes. I'll take it. I can go with that.
Dan, man. Dan the man. So was this coincidental that we had you scheduled for today, or did we pick you up for the most recent announcement?
I mean, I think both. I think there's a little element of both. And in life, everything is a mystery. So, but I'm glad to be here. We definitely have some cool stuff to talk about. And it was just perfect timing. I think you guys had the opening, and Dave hit me up and he's like, you got to come on. I'm like, of course I'll be on. Of course I'll be on.
So Dan is the founder and CEO of Fireside.fm, and Mark Cuban works for him. Hey, whatever happened to that Cubans thing? And no one gave a shit about that, did they? It was just went away.
No, it didn't go away. They're still using it. They're still out there doing stuff with it, raising big money, signing up
really?
Like the NFL and stuff. Yes, brother. It's not great.
Now, is it closed? Is it a closed system? I mean, are these NFL podcasts?
I have no idea. I don't know what they're doing over there.
What happened to the name dispute? How did that get settled?
It's not settled. It's still happening. And it's, I don't know. I don't know about you, but like the prospect of going after a multi-billionaire, isn't thrilling for me.
No.
Well, I did it. I countersued MTV over MTV.com, and it was very scary.
Yeah.
The legal fees were insane.
Yes.
I'm talking $200,000.
Sure.
And that was 1992. So it's no, that's crazy.
Yeah.
How's the OG Fireside.fm doing?
It's going really well. There's features in the works, and it's slow because I'm doing other things, as we're going to talk about, and so I have people helping me, and that's
do you have interns? You have unpaid interns?
I don't have interns that I can boss around and what was it?
And pay nothing. Pay nothing.
Yeah, and pay nothing. No, I pay a lot.
So where are you on? I'm just going to drill you until we get to the meat and potatoes here. Where are you on Namespace Integration? How you doing on that?
Really good. I'm behind a little bit now. I was in the lead for a while. Anytime Dave would have a dream of a feature, and I would have it implemented before he could type up the spec.
Yes, yeah.
But
the good old days before you found venture capital. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm not in that quite of a fast mode, but working on it. I want to be 100% compliant to the namespace, and that's the goal. And I'm committing to that, guys, publicly committing to it.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Commitments.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So
carefully,
I don't know what more I can do for you.
No. See, time code. What's the time?
No, you've been a great supporter, Dan. Really appreciate that.
I love what you're doing, and we're freeing it. We're freeing it from our corporate overlords over at Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Who I like both of those companies for different reasons, and I have problems with both those companies for different reasons. But I think that overall, having something like this is exactly why I made Fireside in the first place, because supporting independent podcasters, supporting people that are out there just trying to have fun with this in this space and trying to do something that's important and meaningful, and not, having a standard out there, having an index out there is so nice. It's so cool. And you guys have built the right kind of API, and it's self-aware. It's a living thing. And I love that about it. So yeah, I'm all behind it.
Thank you. And what I realized myself a day or two ago is, just looking at how well you can do with boostograms, but also really the independence and the reliability of podcasting 2.0. That, as an industry, we kind of think of things like, well, you you're not as big as Apple. You're not as big as Spotify. You don't register. But that's not really the point. The point is we have an uninterrupted flow. We have features that people want. It could take 5 more years before, these apps really, and this type of function. It could take 10 years. I don't know, before the functionality is generally accepted and expected. But we'll get there. It doesn't have to be like this. Oh, well, we'll never be bigger than Apple. Who gives a shit?
Right.
Anybody who wants to feature, any podcaster who tells their audience, hey, you want to support me this way, or do you want to see chapters this way? Their audience will eventually go get an app.
They will.
That's just how it works. That's how it's always worked. I mean,
100%.
the first, arguably the first app was an Apple script. Here, download this, figure it out.
Mm-hmm. So here's the thing I've been thinking about, and I think I read this was the week of the 2 stupidest articles I've read in years. One was this article about the whole internet's going to become a podcast.
Who wrote this? I need this link.
I don't even know. Somebody in Forbes. It was so stupid. But the other one was this other article that said, and the guy's basic premise was, the Apple Podcast app sucks, but I'm never going to stop using it.
And what was that about?
It was essentially like this weird diatribe about how it's hard to stop using something once you have some inertia. And even though it's this horrible thing that makes my life miserable, I'm just never going to stop using them.
Did James Cridlin write this?
No. This was somebody. This was somebody from. I can't even remember. I don't even remember. I've got it. Actually, you know what? I actually have a printout. I shouldn't have to remember things. I print them.
Yes.
And it's from Fast Company. That's where it's from.
Okay.
So, but anyway, so here's what I was thinking. The problem here with a lot of things, there's always this chicken and egg problem of new features, and you have some some apps that wait for the hosts, and then some hosts that wait for the apps, and this chicken and egg. Why can't we start a industry-wide a campaign? That's the word I'm looking for. A PR campaign of get a decent podcast app.
I prefer modern.
Get a modern podcast app.
I've been saying this for months and months, and some people pick it up a little bit. Actually, James Cridlin uses that very often.
It's shaming people.
It's the podcasters. The podcasters should. If you want to help podcasting 2.0, you need to remind your listeners to get a modern podcast app, and that's why we have newpodcastapps.com.
I feel like there needs to be this PR component to it, where people podcasters feel like they're getting they're missing out, like a FOMO if they don't also say, like, this whole thing of get the show wherever you get your podcast. That became a thing because other people were doing it. If we make it popular to say, don't use a crappy podcast app, get a better one.
Here's what I do. If you want to ensure that the next time you listen to the No Agenda show, that you actually get it on your podcast app and it's updated within 60 seconds of me releasing it, and you want all these cool new features, get a modern podcast app at newpodcastapps.com. But also the apps, apps need to be marketing themselves. Software that's, and not everyone has that aspiration, by the way. Not everybody aspires to going out and marketing their app, but the ones that do see success.
Well, it's not just podcasting 2.0 apps too. It's, the broader independent podcast app, ecosystem. So, I mean, that's Overcast and for us, it's Addict and all of them.
Yeah. And for us, it's hard. People ask all the time, what do you recommend? I can't recommend anything. That's not fair.
Yeah. Go try them.
And I like them all for different reasons. Honestly, I use 5-6 apps continuously.
Same.
Yeah.
But I feel like we can make a dent in this behemoth of Apple Pod. I mean, look, I keep going back to this example of Google Chrome. That never ships on any computer. All this dominant market share that Google Chrome has,
that's
it's all because people go and download it. That is a really great
point. That's a huge point.
Mm-hmm. Dan, you're a marketing guy. What do we do? Dan's more marketing guy than you know. Believe me, Dan. When I say that, I'm sincere. I'm sincere.
No, the reason I laugh is because the only things that me and Dan have ever done together have been dismal marketing failures.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. How about that? How about that user ID? How about that? That's
it's it's been picked up by everyone. It's supported across the industry universally, and we're getting our we should be getting our platinum
our check.
awards for that. Yeah, and the check too. The check. Yeah, where is that?
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys, I don't know, because the thing is, if you look at the stats, and I mean, I see stats all the time with the Fireside stuff, and I'm seeing them now with Spooler stuff too, to some degree. It really is overwhelmingly still like everybody, it's so stupid. Everybody uses Apple Podcasts. Like it's there on your phone, and that's the really, at the end of the day, it comes down to that. And the difference is that discriminating people will say, well, I'm going to try a different app for this, or my friend said to try this one, or I'm already using a different one, and they don't care what's on their phone when they take it out of the box, and to your point about Chrome. Yeah, people have to go and download Chrome, and they have to know to do that. And I'm always a little bit surprised when someone that I consider to be kind of a normie, or somebody who's just a regular human being, has Chrome on their Mac, for example, and they're not using Safari. That always throws me a little bit,
But we have, so again, it doesn't matter to me that most people listen on Apple. In fact, the more Apple breaks, the more people choose a modern podcast app. I have it every single day. It's like, oh, you didn't upload it to Apple. Okay. Go get it over here. It doesn't really matter to me. And it overall doesn't matter. We have the connective tissue, I believe, it's taking time, but it's taking off of the value for value streaming payments. That's what binds everybody together, incentivizes the entire ecosystem. And we're moving towards that. It's just time. It's just time. And the size doesn't matter. Let Apple be the number one. Lots of people drive ugly ass shit cars too.
Well, the Google Chrome analogy, I think it bears out what it means to be cool.
Yeah, but you're pretending like Google doesn't have a marketing budget for that. How about the search engines? I mean, there's all kinds of. It's on both sides. It's on both sides. It's you want.
No, I'm saying, but the marketing budget for Chrome. See, I don't think that's where they won, because Microsoft has marketing budgets too that at one time were much bigger than Google. And what I'm saying is, I think that Chrome won because it became uncool to use Internet Explorer.
That's a very valid point.
It became like you were a
loser.
You were considered to be like an old person. Like it was like Facebook or whatever. Oh, you still use Facebook? I mean, that's like, I would never use that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So somehow there has to be this cool factor that happens. And, clearly I know everything I'm talking about with marketing. So
but we have 15 cool factor features. It's
they're nerdy.
Well, chapters is a real thing. I mean, chapters is something being discussed. Let's talk about Spooler right now. And by the way, James O. Boggs didn't contact me and ask me to be a part of this wonderful venture. So disappointed.
I'll take it up with him.
So disappointed. How did this come? What is Spooler? How did this come together, Dan? Give us some details.
Yeah. So I think it was like the original idea was fully formed before they found me, and this was the founders are Andy Bowers, James Boggs, you mentioned, and Henry Blodgett, who runs Insider.com. And they had this concept. I think they called it something like always on audio news or something like that. But the idea behind it was really the idea that you could have, podcasts are primarily used for things later, right? Like, the big Apple event, and then we're going to talk about it later or whatever, because it's difficult to get that kind of immediacy and urgency around a podcast. Now, when you record, because your background is in broadcasting, you've got a really, really great workflow that lets you record something and essentially, like, it's live to tape. You can publish the thing almost immediately. Yeah. But, even something like that, it's it's a different technology, a different technique than the way that news companies are really organized and set up to run. And so the idea was maybe we could use the kind of content insertion. I won't call it ad insertion because that limits the concept of what it is, but the same technology that's used for dynamic ad insertion in a lot of podcasts, couldn't we use something like that to create content that's based on stories, news stories that are breaking and that are updating? Mm-hmm. So what you have is this concept of a news story or a news segment. And so the example you might use is like Biden is going to attend the nuclear summit. Biden is attending the nuclear summit. Biden attended the nuclear summit and I had this to say about it. Well, technically that's one story, right? That's a life cycle of a single story. And maybe there's a way to take that story and automatically, as the story gets updated, essentially publish that, but have it be part of a bigger set of news stories that, in other words, is an episode of a podcast. But then as these individual stories get updated, the episode can be republished. Some of the content is brand new. Some of it is being updated. And so you get this almost like a river of news. That was kind of the original concept. And so using those tools to do that, that means that you can have different reporters or different voice talent or different content creators in different places. They're all saying, oh, here's a new story. They can record that thing and publish it. And then it gets updated within this larger episode, this larger podcast. And that's kind of the genesis of this idea.
And does is there a new episode each time, or you pick up the same episode each time and it's different?
Yeah, you're getting essentially, because of the way that that GUIDs, UIDs work behind the scenes, in order for podcast clients to actually get that update, right, it needs to be a new episode. Otherwise, the people would only ever hear those updates if they. So maybe you guys can work on a spec for this, but because right now the thing that triggers a podcast client to download something is that different GUID. That's what says to them, oh, I've got something new to download. It's not the publish date. It's not anything else. It's not the title. It's that GUID. So in order to push new content out, we've got to update that. Well, so that's where kind of the genesis of this embeddable player that is really useful for a news organization is. And that is we use a completely different mechanism to update these players. But the idea is that you go to the website. In this case, it would be Insider, but it could be any news website, any website. You would go to that. And there's going to be a player that's going to be automatically updating itself whenever there's new content and showing you what's new. So,
all right, so hold on,
two different entry points.
Hold on, let me understand something. So,
yeah,
part of the strategy is you have a specialized player, which is necessary for the way it works. And how do we make this work on Podcasting 2.0? Can we make that work? What can we do? Is that a PodPing thing? How do we accomplish this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it could very well be because, again, the RSS feeds with the right kind of tags in them, maybe there's a way, I don't know, but it would be really great if there was some other trigger that could say re-download this episode and mark it as new. I don't know. I haven't given that a ton of thought, but
we refresh the metadata now on every pull. So if something has changed within the feed, so if we're looking at the item details themselves, and if one of those item details has changed, it will trigger sort of a refresh in the database. So it sounds to me like what's happening is there's a lot of, and this is why I wanted to have you on, because I wanted to go through this whole topic. It sounds to me like what would be critical for this is PodPing support.
Yeah.
Because when, every time the feed or something in the feed changes or the audio enclosure changes or something, there needs to be, if it can happen really quickly, like within hours, rather than, then we really need to be getting like some kind of trigger that says, okay, something changed.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, with RSS feeds, you need something like PodPing. You need something like that. And that's absolutely something that we want to do.
Dan, so let me just understand the business here. Is this intended for news organizations to use Spooler, or do you see this as a consumer product? What exactly is the product?
Yeah. Yes. The answer to your question is yes to both things. Right now, for sure, 100%. This is something that news organizations would and do, and we've had like crazy interest. But they love this because what this means is typically, especially news organizations that have like a radio arm already.
Yeah, they can get rid of people.
Well, probably. But what they're doing is they're generating sometimes hundreds of news stories,
Sure.
and they're sending those to their affiliates, and their affiliates are like taking the ones they want. But when they're editing them down into a radio show or whatever they're doing, it's editing, like it's legit, like they've got Pro Tools or whatever, and they're editing stuff together. And with this solution, it's all programmatic. So when you're listening to something that Spooler's created, we're doing everything behind the scenes. We're taking those different news stories, what we call segments, and we're organizing them. And you can just by dragging and dropping, you can pick them. You can pick the order.
So they get a CMS that they put stuff.
Yes, yes. And then there's this river within the CMS of, here's all the stories I can choose from. I can put them in the order that I want. I can put little sound effects in there. I can put in themes. I can have looping music beds. I can do intros, outros. I can do ad insertion, obviously. And when I hit that publish button, it's going to take all of that, build an MP3. It's going to, completely sweeten the audio with the Dolby stuff. And then it's going to publish it both to the player and to the RSS feed. And so the player has a different feed that it uses. It's not RSS, it's JSON. That's just a custom JSON that we use to power the player. And then the RSS feed, it gets updated. And of course, we're doing chapters and everything else that you would normally do an MP3 file and delivering it that way.
Yeah. And how about podcasting 2.0 chapters? Can we get some namespace support there?
That is very high on the list. The next thing that we're working on.
The PodPing has got to be critical in here.
Yes. Yeah, we can because what it does, excuse me, that the way I see it is it would help you with your consumer part of the business, which it seems undeveloped as of yet.
Yes.
By enabling
or just secret.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I need to do well, I'm under NDA. So I wish I could tell you all the secret. I love you, Todd. We can immediately, depending on support, but I don't see why not. We can bake a lot of this into the new apps, and you would have a consumer play right there.
I would love that.
Yeah, we should. By the way, Dave, they're looking for a senior software engineer. Would you like to be an early applicant? I can click here. Apply now.
No, they can't afford me. Sorry.
I don't think so. You're right. So how did you get involved in this, Dan? I mean, because you're the chief technology officer. Of course, we all know James. I guess you knew him a bit better than me.
James, it's all because of James. So James left Apple. And I think he was figuring out what he wanted to do next. And after he reached out to me, I was just I had seen the tweet that he made when he was leaving Apple. And I said, hey, man, whatever you're doing next, like, I want to be part of it. Cause I had always enjoyed working with him at Apple. He was so helpful to me and to 5x5 and the Fireside.
He was very gracious. In
so
his position
nice
at Apple. Absolutely.
I mean, and he's one of these guys that he's just like, when you meet him in the first 5 minutes, you're like, he was so nice. And like, he's always that nice. Like, he's just one of these genuinely kind, nice people who's enthusiastic about the stuff you guys are doing and stuff I've been doing. And so a little while later, he's like, were you serious when you said you might want to work on something with me? I'm like, yeah, I would love to work on something with you. And so that's when he introduced me to Andy, and they, Andy shared what sort of his vision was. Andy's he's like OG podcaster. He's done so much in the podcasting space and really cares about the news, is passionate about the news. And, they had this idea and they told me what the idea was. And they're like, do you want to help us build it? And I'm like, obviously, yes, this is amazing. This is really cool because it really takes podcasting in a direction that I feel like it always should have been going in, but because the technology maybe wasn't there or whatever, but that is the immediacy of news, the urgency of news. And what's really cool that I think, Adam, you would like, that behind the scenes, we talked a lot about this concept of defining truth at a specific moment in time. And what we have built into this system is that the news, as it is being reported, essentially, facts should be almost immutable. So you have almost this concept of blockchain-ishness in a way, in that what it lets you do is when you're updating a news story, the previous version of that news story is preserved. So you have these different versions, and any update automatically creates a new version.
No news organization wants to have that. They want to be able to delete the shit that they did.
And that's the thing is we don't want that. That's but the thing is,
that's the anti-1984. That can't happen.
I know, but wouldn't that be great if you could hold people accountable to the stuff that they say and the news that they report?
Dan, I want your venture to be successful, man. Seriously, take it from me. Let's listen to your Uncle Adam now on this one.
Okay.
I'd love to support you. It sounds, and I like James. I secretly, I had the feeling that he felt that podcasting was in good hands and he could leave and let Apple go fuck it up. Which, and I've always felt he's like, okay, Curry's a crazy guy, but I think we're safe there with podcasting in general. It's nice to see when Axel Springer, who invested in the venture, they're serious people. Mm-hmm. That's not a venture capital play. That's a real organization, broadcast organization that understands this news, etc. Now, I will say, like Russians, the Germans do always want their money back. So beware.
Noted.
So I'm looking at the podcast feed and am I right in understanding that there's only one feed right now?
Correct. There is
the refresh.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That is the big show that has come out of the Insider. And that was they're the first folks that we're working with, but the plan, of course, would be to have every news organization in the world should want to do this. So they should all come to us and say, we want that. And then we can help them out.
Okay. So then I'm looking at the feed right now, and what I'm seeing is let's just take this one, for instance, March 4th, final edition, Musk's, blah, 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 the title. So this item, if this gets updated with new audio, is what in this item is going to change? The GUID or the enclosure, or is there anything visible that changes?
They would probably also change the title because there's technically you wouldn't have to change the title, but they typically are. So with each update, the way that they're doing it is I think they're releasing, a handful throughout the day. And I think that, will it become hourly? I think it could. But, it's definitely multiple per day. And they typically will change the title. So depending on how you wanted to do it, you might have a morning edition, afternoon, or an evening, what they call the final edition for the day.
Dude, so this will be so sexy with chapters, with links and transcripts. So sexy. Your customers will love that.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Do you have customers yet? You have customers in the door?
I can't talk about it. I can't talk about, but yes, yes, there's a lot of it. There's tremendous and shocking interest to me.
Okay, calm down, Dan. Calm down. You're overdoing it. You're
overdoing it. Me.
You're overdoing it now, Dan. Just easy.
Past the
yes. Now I'm shocked. Okay.
I'm shocked.
Now, so the URL of the enclosure does not change.
It does when a new episode is updated, so that it's a new file name in the enclosure. Okay,
so
and the GUID would change too if they wanted it to. And there's, it's unfortunate that that's the only real mechanism that we have. That's the only way that we can.
That's why really PodPing, brother. That's why PodPing is perfect for this.
So
and all your publishers need to hit PodPing, and then you're done.
So if we have PodPing going and we don't update the GUID. Maybe the file name updates. Will that cause a re-download to happen in compliant clients?
No. Well, it will tell compliant. It will tell anybody watching the PodPing blockchain activity. It will tell them that something in the feed changed, and they need to go figure out what it is.
Right.
So,
we'll get it going.
Yeah, the way we would do it is going to be that if the title changes or the feed URL changes, or the pub date changes, anything other than description, because description can be dynamic and it doesn't mean that anything substantive changed. So if any of those other fields, title, GUID, obviously enclosure, pub date, any of that jazz, if any of that image, URL, any of that changes, we'll get the new copy.
Perfect. But can't PodPing signal, hey, update to XYZ, here's what you got to do?
Well, here's what here's what I want to ask you about that specific thing, Dan, is that, is there a live component that is going to be part of Spooler?
I mean, I think I would like to build that. That's not something we're talking about a lot, but I would love that.
Okay. Because that seems to be the logical next thing you think of, is like, if it's sort of like this rapid news update thing, then you would think that there might be a sort of live component where it's like, okay, I can go live now. And here's a thing, here's a broadcast. That would be cool. When you finish it, it gets stitched into the audio.
Yeah. Can I use that on our show yet, Dave? Is it almost ready?
Yeah. I'm waiting on you.
What do you mean you're waiting on me? You told me don't do that to me. Seriously?
Yeah.
Well, what am I supposed to do?
I think we're good to go.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah, but we gotta cuddle and talk about it.
Okay.
Later.
All right. Well, you haven't been very cuddly lately, dear. It's been a little annoying.
I've not been the one that's
okay. Well, listen, I have to travel for my job so I can feed this family. Okay.
Nice.
There's a lot of love in the room. That's very exciting, Dan. I look forward to us integrating with that. That'll be cool. Have you gotten into value for value at all, and not related to Spooler, but just podcasts and into boosting and
I think that's the way everything is going, man. I think that's the way everything is going. I think.
Could you rephrase that and say, I'm shocked at the interest. It's outrageous.
It's insane what kind of interest there is right now in value for value. I'm seeing it everywhere I go.
I love you, man. Yeah.
It's the future, way of the future.
Have you used it yourself at all?
Not in as effective as a way as you do, but I have one show now that's completely listener supported, and I would prefer to only do listener supported on a personal level. Only doing listener supported, only doing things where we have direct engagement and involvement with the audience. It's so much better, even if it means I make less, or even if it means I make very little. I think it's worth it because
but you don't. That's the thing. It really doesn't matter. And this with the boostograms, people are going nuts. It's really interesting. It's we transitioned, except for our monthly PayPals, and we have two larger donors, Marco at Overcast and Buzzsprout. I think the transition to streaming sats and boosting has been pretty good, actually. It's a little lower overall, but there's more people doing it. And hell kind of froze over. I actually opened a channel to Todd Cochran's node today. I mean, really? I didn't expect that to happen. Yeah, he built himself. Did he build his own node?
Yeah,
Dave?
He's got a Raspberry Pi with an Umbrel on
it. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Why don't you have an Umbrel and a Raspberry Pi and a Lightning node and stuff, Dan? I mean, you're such a geek. You would love that.
Yeah, you get a kick out of it.
I would totally love playing with that stuff.
I would love to get that
with all your spare time. With all your spare time.
Yeah, that's the only problem. That's the only problem.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
No, I was just going to say. So from this new product, what has jumped out at you? And this is the other big question I want to ask of what, how do I want to phrase this? What have you seen that would make, what tags or what new things in the feed can we build that would help you to more realize this vision that Spooler wants to do?
That's a great question because, like I had mentioned earlier, to power the player has little, it's essentially like a mini podcast app in a way, in that, we can pull data, we can do things right now delivered mainly over RSS. And I think really there isn't that much that's in there that we want at this point. But what I can see down the road, when I think about this, I think about personalization. Like, how cool would it be if I could say, I want this kind of news this way? How do we add that layer to it? And I don't know if that's something that you guys can build in and can help with, or if it's just something that I think about a lot, because as like if you look at what happened with the cable companies, how they basically said, this is the cable plan, like you can have this and you can add HBO and that's like it, to what we have now, which is, well, I like the Disney Plus stuff, so I'm going to get Disney Plus, or I like what HBO is offering. And now we're having to pick and choose from all these different companies. It's almost like that in a way from the podcasting standpoint. If you could say, I just want this content, or I want this content from here and this content from here and this content from here, and imagine it all coming together in one place, that's kind of what we want, except right now we're having to get it from all of these different sources. I don't know really if I'm thinking about better attribution, if there's a better way than just the author tags, but credit for writing credits, you know what I'm saying? Something that allows, if you have an episode of a show that might pull content from lots of different places, I feel like attribution is going to be more and more and more important over time. So something along those lines.
Well, that brings up a couple of things in my mind. We've got a few different proposals, and we hit a lot of easy stuff in the beginning of the namespace. So a lot of, and I say easy in quotes. What I really mean by easy is that they were sort of obvious. I mean, you had things
low-hanging fruit,
low-hanging fruit, chapters, and you had things like like a license tag. I mean, things like this. That it's like, okay, well, fine, but then, as we go forward, we're hitting the harder things, the things that take longer to build, and they need schema and they need protocol. And so like things like the cross-app comments and all that jazz. One thing, there's a few of these types of things that have been thrown around. One is podcast related. And I think Alex Gates brought that up. And sort of this would be a tag, a related tag, which would say, okay, this episode of this podcast is related to this other episode of potentially this other podcast. Basically a way to reference other material in other podcasts within a certain feed item. There's that idea.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was designed more for the mythical discovery.
I think it's more than that, because this was defined in the context of being able. So if you have a live item, if somebody goes live and you have a live item in the feed, and then that live item ends, well, then you may also want to then publish another item that's exactly the same thing. So here would be the flow. It would be, you go live, they listen to your app and it's live, and then that live stream ends. Well, then the podcaster goes back, edits the audio down into a published state, publishes it as an item, and now you could potentially, if the podcaster wanted this, you could have both in the feed. You could have the live unedited raw version and then the published version. So this is sort of like a studio track and a live track, and they could both be in the feed. And in that point, you would want to be able to connect them somehow to let the app and the user know that these are two versions of what is essentially the same thing.
Right.
And so that's the related idea, that you would say, okay, this is related to this other item in this way. So I could see something there if we flesh that out, and that gets more feet to it, that those sort of connectors between items might be a way to go and do that. Then there's this other notion that that Tom and Kevin came up with of channels, and they're sort of like thinking along the lines of the new Apple podcast ecosystem channel concept, but really not so much, since that channel concept within Apple is tied really to subscriptions a lot. So those are more like networks. The channels would be more like groupings of related shows for any reason, not just because somebody's got a network. And I wonder, I mean, like some things like that may address some. Do you think that would address some of what you're thinking about?
I do. Yeah. I think that's a really neat way to do it. And I absolutely love the idea of the live stuff. And I could actually see, just like y'all do in broadcast journalism, where you have someone introducing something live and then you've got the package that's already been made. I could see something like that working too. I think there's a lot of potential.
I was thinking about namespace tags in context of the last board meeting where we were talking about claim codes. And it kind of dawned on me that everything that you need a claim code for should almost by default be a namespace tag. Almost all these companies are adding some value, but only within their own, sometimes fully, sometimes semi-walled garden. There's no benefit to all the podcast apps. But, when it comes to comments, ratings, all these different things, that's all versions of the same thing. It should all, what do you think, Dave? It seems to me like you should never have to go claim something for a service. You should be able to put, that information should be able to be handled in a decentralized way. And the namespace tags does that in most cases, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I see.
I'm not saying remove other companies, etc. But a lot of these things that these companies offer, as I get them because I get spam because my email address is in the feed, and I'm like, we can build that.
Well, the thing that pops up first, I mean, you have to do sort of a claim process with Podcaster Wallet,
sure,
and that is.
Well, I'm separate. I'm sorry. I don't mean to bring up the authentication part because I'm in agreement with you there. I have no problem.
Okay, so you're separating ownership from authentication somehow,
what I'm saying is most of the places where you are asked to authenticate are features that should be in the namespace.
Oh, okay, I understand. So what you're saying, like in ours would be a good example of that. So we're you're claiming your feed on Podcaster Wallet, and then we hold the value tag since you can't put it in your feed yourself. But really, you should be putting it in your feed yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
But precisely, and I think those types of shim companies, who also again can be incentivized through the value for value streaming distribution. That's the way forward. And even if these companies go off and do their own thing, I think we should always be looking at what are the features people are strapping onto their feed, and can we put it in a namespace tag?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. You're watching what the industry, for lack of a better term, watching what people are seeing, what they need. And then, okay, how can we do this in a way where people don't have to have some company?
And it helps all those companies with those great ideas get into all the apps with whatever they're offering.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because you can see that. I mean, if enough people need it, then just make it where it can be canonical within the feed itself.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, have either of you seen this Impervious browser?
Not even heard of it, no.
So someone sent me this. It's the
the Impervious.ai, right?
Yeah, that's the same people.
Yeah, I have seen that thing.
So the Impervious browser will be launched publicly April 7th during the Bitcoin 2022 conference in Miami.
Oh no! Let me try to describe to you what this is, and you'll tell me if I'm even close.
All right.
This is, just from the name, this is something that is going to try to be like Tor, and it's going to pump all of your browser requests through the Lightning Network.
No.
Okay, all right.
I don't think so.
I take all that back.
Okay, I'm reading from their press release, and it's quite detailed, actually, what they have. Features: Zoom without Zoom, Google Docs without Google, Medium without Medium, WhatsApp without WhatsApp, payments without banks, identity without the state, all without centralized intermediaries built into the Impervious browser. So they have secure peer-to-peer messaging. They have peer-to-peer WebRTC data channels for audio and video calls. Then they have the decentralized local storage is interesting. Files can be encrypted and stored locally. Both the browser-designated encrypted system database can be published to an anonymous, publicly accessible, decentralized data store, IPFS. IPFS managed automatically, fully integrated into the underlying Impervious daemon. Files published to IPFS can be universally accessed via IPNS and persistent link. They've connected all of the the API payments for IPFS hosting, etc. I mean, this thing it's quite amazing. The whole idea is everything is decentralized, and we've thrown in they have APIs to the Lightning Network. So there's no mention how that works. I'm sure there's somewhere someone's doing wallet stuff somewhere. But it seems like they're really, like it might be a leap forward in decentralized everything.
Just looking through this
could be interesting.
Especially if it's based on, Chromium or whatever, if it's a modern browser, but I bet it is. It just, I just looked at this and like, well, that's kind of all the things we need.
Built-in IPFS pinning services allow for persistent file availability even when a user's IPFS node is offline. Man, I
create, pay, and verify Lightning invoices, send and receive Lightning key send payments. Create pay-to-play links, prompting peers to fulfill a key exchange or Lightning invoice to view premium content. Port existing audiences to bolster subscription content revenue resiliency. Whoa, that's some marketing jargon right there.
Yeah.
Offer goods and services via links associated with, that's like LN URL. I mean, so they do have a lot of interest here. Store, what was the... I don't know. I'm semi excited about this.
Yeah, I want to see the. This looks like it's released in April. I had not heard about this. Decentralized identifiers, DID comps. There's quite a few things in here that I've never seen these words before.
Such as
like DID com. What is DID com?
Oh, that's just decentralized identifier. So you can identify yourself with your key.
Oh,
for logins and stuff like that. Well, you're really humming and hawing on this one, Dave. It doesn't sound like you're like, I'm not. That don't impress me much. Okay.
No, I'm not saying. No, it's not that it's not impressive. I'm caught off guard by this because I don't.
I saw what
the goal is.
The goal is to allow everyone to publish blogs, podcasts, etc., without hosting companies and with revenue streams built in, I guess.
Yeah. I'm skeptical. This sounds like, because Impervious.ai is the ones that, now I'm not trying to say this is all they do, but I know they've done multiple experiments with pushing things through the Lightning Network. Like, they're the ones that did that thing where they delivered a podcast, MP3, through Lightning channels.
Oh, I didn't know that had happened. That's a horrible thing to think of.
It's awful. It's awful. And
what kind of channel liquidity do you need for 100 megabyte file?
I don't know, but it sounds like a horrible thing to do. And so my first thought is, oh, that's what.
No, it doesn't seem to be that. Well, we'll see. I mean, I just love all of these, self-hosting homes things that are popping up, and the best will rise to the top, no doubt.
Do you do any of that, Dan? Do you do anything like OwnCloud or any of that jazz?
No, I'm not really doing that.
Oh man, I love Nextcloud. I love my Nextcloud. It's the best.
It's just not something you've ever gotten into. Is the whole self-hosting thing?
Oh no, I mean, that's exactly what I used to do for years. I used to run an internet hosting company out of my spare bedroom in my apartment. I mean,
no, for you personally though.
No, but I'm saying I always used to do the personal stuff and have control and do the self-hosting and all of that, and I just kind of got
captured. You gave in to the man.
I gave in to the man, I guess. Geez. I mean, would running I have a Synology I could share stuff off of, I guess. Do you want me to do Nextcloud? Is that what you're trying to do?
No. I'm just wondering how committed you are. Like, if you're on the, but you're on that tip.
When you get an Umbrel and you look at that app store, there's just things in there that are just groovy little toys, like the Nextcloud that sets up the instance for you. This is, I don't know, it's Pi-hole, and you can run it, from any device. They've got the VPN, the Tailscale. It's kind of getting there. I'm feeling this. Yeah,
I hear you.
Dan, we just
I
need to
take what you say seriously. I'll go look at it. I have the next cloud site open right here.
You're
Regain Control, the self-hosted productivity platform that keeps you in control. Try Nextcloud now.
Now, what we need is Dan just to be around us wherever we go, Dave, so we can just say hallelujah. That's right on.
They call that a hype man.
Yes, exactly. Yes, we need to be our hype man. You can do that. You're good at that. And then I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you. No problem. Should we thank some people, Dave?
Oh yeah, sure. You got time to stick around while we thank our donors?
I would love to do that.
Oh, awesome.
So this is a value for value project, as we would say in Canada. I'm going to talk to some Canadians today. It's a great project. It's a project. No, I don't do A jokes anymore. After that that trucker thing, I got respect for him. Like,
but they love it.
Yeah, I know, but I'm giving them more love.
Oh, okay.
But I will mess with project. So this project, Podcasting 2.0, is completely value for value, which means only if you think you get any value out of it, then you need to put some back in. That can be with one of the 3 T's: time, talent, treasure. We need treasure to keep the machine spinning, keep everything whirring. We worry enough, but whirring with an I. And you can do that by going to podcastindex.org. There's a link at the bottom, the big red donate button. You can hit that. And is the QR code for Bitcoin on chain up there yet?
Yeah, on the site.
Yeah, it's up?
Yeah, it's on there. The tally coin. Mm-hmm.
Oh, the tally coin. Yeah, perfect. Or you can get a modern podcast app at newpodcastapps.com and boost to your heart's content. Send a message. We love reading them as well. And it's also just a great way to continuously support the podcast app that you're using, because we have the distributed digital royalty system of the value block splits, and you also help Podcast Index with that, and we highly appreciate it. So we're going to thank some of these people now.
Yeah, well, this show is pretty much owned by Dreb Scott. I'm going to tell you that up front.
Is he big baller?
He's hiding from his wife in the closet and sending out and just giving all their money away. Is what's happening.
He did a round, man. He did a round. He did a big baller on MoFax, No Agenda, and now tell us.
If Dan had a Lightning enabled podcast, he would have been in there too. But Dreb Scott would have thrown sats at him.
That's right. That's right.
Dreb Scott, $345.67 through PayPal.
Baller, shot caller, 20-inch blades on the Impala.
Oh, Dreb, thank you. I was talking about Dreb again last night with Tina. She says, because I said, Dreb donated $345.67 to No Agenda. And he did it for Podcasting 2.0 and for MoFax. She says, what does this guy do? I said, "What? Well, she doesn't listen. She listens to almost everything I do. This one she doesn't listen to." I said, "Don't you know that he is the Bruce Wayne of Podcasting 2.0? He's an heir to $1 billion. He has a bat cave, the whole thing, and he in his cave he does chapters to help people, and then he's giving away his fortune bit by bit, Satoshi by Satoshi." She says, "Really?"
He's good.
Yeah,
he's part of the Bill Gates. They give all your stuff away.
Yeah. Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett give all your money away. Thank you so much, Dreb. This is so meaningful. Really appreciate it. You've just been on a tear, man. Then don't kill yourself on anything. He's always like, listen, I did the chapters for MoFax. I'm going to do the other one from No Agenda tomorrow. It's like, dude, anytime.
It's cool. Yeah,
anytime. We understand.
You get a message from him sometime. My child's in the hospital for treatments. I'm not going to be able to
My house blew up.
Tonight.
My dog died, but I got the chapters ready. I did it while in the ambulance.
Dreb says, can I get a birthday shout out, as my birthday is today, March the 4th? Well,
yes.
Happy birthday.
Yes. Well, no, what he needs, he needs a biscuit for his birthday. That's what he needs.
They always give me a biscuit on my birthday.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Dreb. Happy birthday, brother.
March 4th, the only day of the year that gives a command. I like it. March 4th.
March 4th. Exactly.
Keep up the great work. Dreb, NJNK.
Thank you, Dreb. That's really appreciated, man.
Let's see.
And he gets the sats too. He gets 5% split on all of my shows on the sats. I doubt he's receiving as much as he's putting in.
No, I don't think so. Now this is an interesting one. This is $100 PayPal from Cauldron Entertainment.
Oh, Cauldron.
And Cauldron, this says, now this is to you. It says, It would seem my boostergrams advertising my intimacy and relationship coaching aggravated Adam with his comment that I am making the rounds. Were you aggravated?
No, that's not aggravated. That's what Comic Strip Blogger does. No, I'm not aggravated by that at all.
Yeah, no. Making the rounds means you're
this is the sex therapy couple.
Yeah.
No, this is okay.
Dan knows these guys.
Let me just say,
tremendous interest.
It's shocking how much interest there is for this sex therapy. What I like about it is you're one of the first people to grasp the full potential of value for value. You're sending us a cute message. We're laughing about it. People are hearing about the service you provide, and you're supporting the show. We love it. No. I'm not at all annoyed. I'm sorry that you got that impression.
So here's a donation that hopefully shows my appreciation for all involved in Podcasting 2.0. Podcasting gave me purpose after a job loss and saved my life from suicide. As I explained on Dave Jackson's School of Podcasting episode, podcasting gives a listener a reason to live.
Wow.
Thanks to all involved for the hard work. Wow, that is a story.
What episode is that?
It's called Podcasting Gives a Listener a Reason to Live.
Crikey. Well, nice.
I like
hearing that. Another life saved or created, Dave Jones.
It's also another money-making tip where we could just be really ambiguous about our thoughts about things and people have to give us more money in order to explain them properly.
I love how you do that. You are a thinking man.
Thank you for that $100 Cauldron Entertainment. $50 from Amy Harmon. And there is no note from Amy, but thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Amy. Appreciate it.
That's it. That's PayPal. So we got some boosts. We got some boostergrams.
Yay. Hold on.
Boost.
Yeah, ready to boost, everybody. Boostergrams be hanging. What do we got?
It's Sir Spencer. 33,369 sats through Fountain. And he says, thank you for helping us make podcasting history. Shout out to Rare Encounter with April Kirby and Cold Acid, who also implemented live this week. Go podcasting.
Yeah, I want to do live. Go podcasting.
Well, let's do it. Can we do it next week?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Next week.
I'll be all jacked and ready. Friday, going live.
All right, we'll do it. We'll do it next
live.
week.
All right. Woo-hoo. I'm excited now.
Boost. Sir Doug gave us 4,400 sats, and he says, I'm boosting while driving.
Yeah, we encourage that.
Boost. Pull over. Harv Hat sent us a row of ducks, 2222, and he says, now we know where the A in Acast comes from. I think that was a live boost last week.
Row of ducks, always appreciated.
Dan, you do not harvest people's email addresses from their RSS feeds and spam them to come to Fireside, do you?
No, but my competitors do that. They definitely do that.
I've heard that.
I get reports of it all the time on Twitter, and people forward me stuff all the time. You'd be absolutely shocked, and I don't get that. I feel like that's something that you just shouldn't do. You just shouldn't do that.
We call it slimy.
Yeah, I just like it.
So
feels
it's more than one company that does that?
It's mainly one company, but there is a second one, but it's mainly the one. I'm not going to not
Acast. Yeah, we all know this has been a news story. I got it on what's that thing called?
I can't remember which company it was.
No, I got it on Spooler. I heard it on Spooler.
Did you?
Spooler. Shit. Had to go look it up. What the hell was that thing? Spooler. Spooler is cooler. Mm-hmm.
Harv Hat sent us 12,222 sats, and he says, running with scissors.
Yeah, we love that.
That's what we do here.
Me too.
Scissors. Martin from Podfriend gave us 10,000 sats, and he says, history is being written. First Podfriend cross-app comment just happened.
Ooh, yeah. Where did this happen?
This was right around the show last week.
Our show?
First post.
Was it on our show?
Posted comment.
On our show?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, that's right.
Oh, I'm excited. Another first.
Yep. That's he's integrating Minipub, and I think Stephen B is integrating Minipub as well. We've got...
I'm celebrating.
John Spurlock next week, so we're going to talk all about
Spurlock. This guy's another mysterious dude. I like him.
Yeah,
what's he been up to? What's he going to come on and talk about?
Cross-app comments.
Yeah.
Do you know about cross-app comments, Dan?
only a
don't
peripheral
lie.
level.
No, Dan, just say no.
So it's all the spec is all using ActivityPub.
Well, you guys talked about it at the end of the year last year, right?
This is one of the first things we talked about, and we were not ready as a group yet to tackle it, but we're there now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it will be in phase 5 of the namespace. The rudimentary tags will be in there, and then there will be it's fairly the landscape for how to do this has gotten a lot more clear over the last probably 3 to 4 weeks.
But we're seeing it work, man. It's so cool. Yeah. In one app, you post a comment, boom, it's in all the others, and you can choose your platform. So I use the Mastodon server. You can reply there. I mean, the whole thing is mine. You know what? I'm shocked at the interest in this thing.
Yes, interest is shocking. Mere Mortals podcast. Kyron Down gave us a row of ducks. 2222. He said, "I actually had a chat with Brian." It's a premature duck.
Sorry. Premature duck.
Oh my God.
I actually had a chat with Brian on the latest Mere Mortals conversations, as he mentioned about getting some flack from the Bitcoin maximalists. Sad to hear, as he's doing great work with PodPing. He sure is. Yeah. We also talked about decentralization, the genesis of Hive, and his crypto class action lawsuit here in Australia. If anyone is interested, quack, quack. All right.
Brian. Dude, don't pick fights. Don't pick fights.
There's more of them than there are of you. So just remember.
Yeah. We understand what you're saying, bro. We do.
Brian of London, 1948 sats. Speak of the devil. And he says, this episode is made for me. Thank you much. I'm also seeing increased failed transactions, especially to Mun and Phoenix. I'm working hard to fix this. No breeze in the split? Well, I think we had breeze in the split, didn't we?
What do you mean breeze in the split?
Roy.
What is he saying?
From the last episode. Didn't we put Roy's split in there?
No, he refused. He refused. Yeah, I said, give me your lightning node. He said, no, give it towards podcasting 2.0. I said, yeah, but I want you to see the joy of these Satoshis coming in. He says, dude, I see that all day on the breeze node. I said, okay, fair point.
He said, I'm Israeli. I don't need joy. I live on the power of the universe.
Precisely.
Okay, so here we go. Is this? Yep, here it is. Anonymous, but it's not really anonymous because it came through Breeze, and it's Roy, and he sent us 123,456 sats.
Whoa! Let me see.
And he said,
go ahead.
It's a Breeze love for Podcast Index from Roy.
Oh, man. Let's give you a little bit of love back. Thank you, Roy. You know, I shamed him into that. That was pretty cool. That worked.
Did you?
It's like, hey, man, none of the Bitcoiners ever donate. All they do is bitch at Brian of London.
And he was like, okay. I'll do it.
Thank you, Roy. Awesome. Thank you so much. He bought a mic. We got to test it.
Oh, cool. Okay.
He's like, what can you recommend? And I said, well, I would recommend the... was it the SM7, the USB version? What is that, Dan?
Is that the M7?
Yeah, the M7. Yeah, the M7.
Those are
really badass. Nice. And he's like, you got anything cheaper? I said, hey, man, you asked for the podcast Podfather recommendation. He's like, I got a Yeti Blue. So, okay, you're ready for YouTube. Fine.
YouTube. YouTuber. What mic are you on right now, Dan? You sound good.
I am on the Telefunken M, which guy is this the M82, I think? Yeah. It's,
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Telefunken what?
I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. Telefunken M82. Yeah, I was right. It's a really great mic. I've been on this thing for years. And this came from a recommendation of one of my listeners who went to some audio show, and Telefunken was there, and he's like a super nerd audio engineer. He knows everything. And he's like, Dan, your voice would sound really good through this mic. And I said, really? And he's like, better than the Shure SM7, way better than the Heil PR40. You got to get this. You got to get it. And I'm like, you know what? I'll order it. And if it's wrong, I'll just, I'll send it back. And it was great. And I loved it. And I've been using it ever since.
Hey, I think I'm going to try this one out.
It's a great mic. You would sound amazing through this.
Does it come with a boom attachment, or do you have to have an extra bit?
The package that I got came with the boom and the boom attachment and everything that you need. And it actually came with two. It comes with a shock mount, and it also comes with just the little attachment. And I think there's different packages you can get depending on what you want. Like, it's up to you.
I've always liked Telefunken microphones. I have not owned one myself. I've used them many times.
The build on it is amazing. Like it
looks good. That's a good look.
Really
so
nice.
So you got to get the broadcast package with the cable. Oh, it comes with cable, shock mount, and boom arm.
You don't
Sweetwater
have
has
to.
it
You
listed
can just
as a kick drum mic. Is that?
Yeah. I mean, most of the mics that we use in podcasting are kick drum mics, right, Adam? I mean, wouldn't you say the RE20 and the PR40, weren't they kick drum mics originally?
Yes, I think they were originally. Yeah.
But you can get the M782 microphone mount M82TF11 attachment if you don't like the shock mount. I'm just looking at their website right now, but it's a great mic.
Do you need the shock mount? Is it real? I guess it's probably sensitive.
It's sensitive enough. I tried it without it, and it seemed to pick up a lot.
I just like grabbing my mic, like a big phallic symbol.
Yeah, of course.
So of course, Adam. We know what you're about.
Who doesn't do that? Who doesn't have that fantasy going?
Yes. This is interesting.
I might buy this just to have it in here and look at it.
It's a badass mic. It's so cool, and it's all black all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
but I like the sound of it. I agree with Dave. You sound really good. There's a real good sound. No, it's the mic, man. Don't take credit. It sounds really nice.
Wow.
Come on, Dan. You should have been working with me when you had the chance.
Oh my God! You bring this up every damn time.
Of course I do. I live for this.
I didn't see the vision, and now I regret it. I told you it's like the one thing I regret in my life. I'm not even kidding.
Let's continue with our boostergrams, Dave.
John's BRT gave us 49,000 sats.
Whoa,
he says,
nice.
Swapping atoms and splicing. Pew, pew.
Ooh.
I like it. Swapping and splicing.
Nice. Swapping and splicing.
Title.
Excellent.
Cass Peeland gave us 3,300 sats, and he says, I'm trying to get the podcast index channel in balance for weeks now. I did the rebalance swap loop. All of them fail. We'll try with zero fees one of these days. Thanks for the show.
Yeah, on that, I am experimenting with fees for our liquidity provision, and so far it seems like having a zero base fee, for the micropayment seems to be really good, and it has most definitely with a significantly higher per amount fee has stopped a lot of the routing that was just blowing out our channels. But it does mean that if you, for instance, Todd, with your node, we're an expensive place to be if you want to get all your payments through us. So the whole idea is, open up more channels, work with other people, expand. And we need that. The network needs it. Everybody needs it. And we need it so that we can make good use of our liquidity.
Yeah. And if all else fails and you're rebalancing, just drop the channel and open a new one. I mean, that's
another way to do it. It's expensive, but it's definitely a way to do it.
Wait for the fees to be down. Yeah. Wait for the mempool to be a little bit empty and try it then.
Mm-hmm.
Primitive One gave us 6,669 sats through Fountain. And he says, I came across submarine swaps recently without foreknowledge, which put me off a bit. But I feel a lot better about the whole thing and learned a bunch about Breeze, making me feel better for having recommended it to some people.
I had a submarine swap experience myself, actually.
Did you?
With the Breeze app, which was kind of fun. Well, not fun, but how it ultimately worked. I was sending money to my sister in Italy to the Breeze app on chain, $1,100 or something. We're renting an Airbnb for my dad's interment. And so I sent it to her, actually to her husband, because she said, I'll just pay for it and then send Alessandro. He wants to have some Bitcoin, so send it to him. And I'd sent a test to the Bitcoin address, like $10 just to make sure it got there. Okay, everything's fine. And then I sent the remaining money to the same Bitcoin address, which typically you can do. Even though, and I didn't listen to my sister because she said, are you supposed to use the same one twice? I'm like, shut up. You're not a Bitcoiner. I know what I'm doing. But the way Breeze does it is it's a submarine swap. So it comes into the Breeze wallet in Lightning. And I think probably to stop double spend or some other accounting issue, you can't reuse that invoice. And so I sent this. And the way they do it is then after 244 blocks, they'll refund the money. You can choose where you want to refund it to, which is on one hand cool, although you can't use the app for that amount of time. But while all this took place, we had the war kick up, and then the mempool just went to like,
oh crap,
20 sats per V byte. And so this thing was just hung in there. And I'm talking to Roy. I said, dude, this is such a shit experience. I can't believe my sister, my brother-in-law, they're like Adam's nuts with his Bitcoin.
It's the worst possible demo.
And it worked out, and then they got on Lightning and they transferred it back and forth, and they're really delighted with that. But most importantly, they were delighted because it had gone up 10% since I sent it to them. Like, we didn't mind waiting on you, you fool. And today, right away, I made sure that got stricken right off. There you go. Boom, you're done. No profit for you today.
Dave Jackson sent us 2,400 sats, and he says, emptying my wallet for February before filling it up for March. Go podcasting.
Yo.
Go podcasting! How you doing, Booster?
Oh, another... you must have really shamed Roy, because he sent us another 123,456 sats.
Holy crap.
Go podcasting!
He says, from Roy.
Hey, hold on.
He says, from Roy with love. Also the name of a famous movie.
Sure.
Thank you, Roy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Thanks, Roy. Really appreciate it.
222, big humongous row of ducks. And he says, this is David Leary. Says 2 of 2. Oh, do I have a 1 of 2 here?
2 of 2.
1 of 2.
I'm gonna give him a little.
Oh, I see. He says, what is it? Remove podcast ID 2062903 and keep podcast ID 9304992. Okay, this is tech support.
Tech support. We love tech support that's paid for. That's right. We'll take care of that right away, sir. No problem. We love you as a customer.
Putting it to the side. I will take care of that after the show. Dreb Scott, he's back.
What?
345,678 sats.
Holy crap.
Boost.
Nice. Oh, man. Thank you,
Dreb. Through Cast-O-Matic.
Oh, my goodness.
He says, great show last week. I learned a lot, but it was still a bit over my head. And that's okay, as I'm still new to this crypto stuff. I'm still struggling to understand how to get more liquidity into my node. Can you break it down some more for us slow people? I love the show, Dreb. Now, if you're trying to figure out how to get more liquidity into your node, this is not how you do it, Dreb. This is sending liquidity out of your node.
Yeah.
Yes,
exactly.
This is the wrong strategy.
You're going the wrong way.
Yes.
I can look into that and help you out, Dreb. Let me. I'll look into your. Let me check your node.
This is Dan. You're seeing how this is done. I mean, this.
Yeah, I'm learning. This is a masterclass for me.
Yeah, wouldn't you learn? This would be perfect for a Dan Benjamin show.
Yeah,
the Boostergram Corner.
I like that.
1,000 sats from Anonymous, and it just says, "I love Breeze."
Oh, well, we love you.
Boost, don't we all?
Yep.
Arno sent 3333. Third time's lucky. Happy 3 of 3 boost.
Yo, boost.
Arno has been sending some pull requests for Helipad, so I'm gonna.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of work on that.
Nice.
Fun Fact Friday with Leela and David sent us 8,058 sats, and it says, just ordered parts for our Umbrel. And if you want to learn about artificial intelligence, you're invited to listen to AI.cooking.
Wait a minute. What is
cross-pollination.
Going on here? What is happening here? So we have Fun Fact Friday donating. Now, I know that they're putting together parts for their Umbrel because I saw a post about that. And then they're promoting comic strip bloggers, AI.cooking. This is very interesting.
I don't understand.
I'm confused. I'm confused, yes. But I like it.
Boost. Let's see. Cass Peeland sent us 33 sats, and he says, "Okay, 0 fees did the trick." Okay, I like the follow up.
Hold on a second. Boost. That's a little boost, little droopy boost. Boost.
1,000 sats from an anonymous user, and he just says, "Boost recovered podcast."
Very nice.
How you doing, Booster?
Don't know what that means, but
we'll take it.
We'll take it. Sir Spencer sent us another one. Oh, this is just this looks like a double. This is a 33,369. Oh, Sir Spencer, that's like a double from his earlier one.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much.
David Meadus sent a 3,400 sat birthday boost for Dreb Scott.
Happy birthday, nice. Dreb. We should probably hit him with another biscuit for his birthday.
They always give me a biscuit on my birthday.
Okay, here's 11,101 11,111 sats. And this is the one of two. So this is the first half of the other one. It says, please remove the fraudulent Anchor copy of my podcast.
Ah, there you go. Wow. So it's tech support in 2 parts.
Yeah.
Love it. Boost. Very good.
Monthly command line boost from Mike Neumann. It's Newman. Mike Newman. I always mispronounce it. Oh, he sent a humongous rush boost, 21,112, through the command line. He says, monthly command line boost. Adam, great interview on Glenn Beck podcast. Totally on message. Go podcasting.
Yo, thank you.
You're on message.
See, we don't have marketing meetings. We just have people boost and say, yeah, you did a good job, man. It's fine. Or, like, dude, you should have hit that more. People, this is our messaging system now.
All right, we got 2 left. We got Satoshi's.stream 5551
thank you.
Fountain, and he says, reply to the last episode. Dave is the #1 booster in sats, not in amount of times boosted. Okay.
Oh, well, who's #1 in amount of times boosted?
I don't know.
I feel like I'm a heel.
Yeah.
I'm not keeping up my booster quota. My
Maybe
Boda.
it's Dan.
My Boda.
Maybe Dan's the secret booster.
It's me.
Yeah, Dan's actually Dreb Scott. That's you've been doing all of our chapters.
Oh my God.
Right.
No.
Oh, the delimiter. Comic strip
blogger. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. What did he do for us?
20,033 sats.
Nice. Thank you.
He says, howdy, Dave and Adam, through Podfriend. This one-time different message. Announcement from the country of Poland to Ukrainian refugees. You will be admitted unconditionally to Poland, including pets. Just go to Polish border crossings. Unlike Hungary and Romania, Poland uses very similar language to Ukrainian. Poland will provide you with accommodation, food, medical assistance, etc. And you can also work legally if you want. For more info in Ukrainian and English, see website ua.gov.pl. If you know Ukrainians anywhere, pass it on.
Wow. All right.
That's very nice.
That's very nice, comic strip blogger. Thank you. Thanks for supporting the show. Everybody, please remember, this thing doesn't run itself.
We got some monthlies.
Oh, we got the monthlies, sure.
Yeah, we got Jeff Miller at $20, Michael Kimmerer at $5.33, Leslie Martin, $2, Dreb Scott, again, at $15 a month, Aaron Reno at $5, Pedro Goncalves at $5, Chad Farrow at $20.22, Loretta Vandenberg at $10, Scott Jalbert at $12, Mark Graham at $1, Boris Kozelski at $1, Joseph Maraca at $5, and David Meadus at $10.
Thank you all very much. These monthlies really do make a difference. We appreciate that. And I was actually looking, did you check the tally coin by any chance?
Oh, what about it? Is it
I was wondering if anyone had sent us any donations through.
Oh, I don't know. I think you're the only one that has access to it.
Yeah. No. Let me see. Yeah. No, because it's public.
Oh.
It's public. It looks like we have let me see. We do have something. Yeah, something came in. We have 2 payments, no message, and let's see. One is 12,840 Satoshis, and the other one is no name, anonymous, testing out the new widget, 24,896. Thank you very much.
Oh,
both of you. Yeah, that works, man. It works. Cool. It works. Who knew? It works. Love it. Thank you all for supporting the project. Thank you for supporting the podcast. We really appreciate it. And thank you, Dan Benjamin, for everything you've done in podcasting from early days that you continue to do. I mean, I understand this little side gig, pick us some shares. You'll be rich. Just remember us. Remember to boost us.
I mean, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, Adam.
No,
I'm not kidding.
Dan, we got to hang out, man. You're still
Anytime.
in Austin, right? You're still in Austin?
Yeah, I'm still here.
We got to have a burger or something together. I'd like
Would
that.
love that. Anytime. You tell me when. I'll be there.
Is there anything else we can do for you, sir?
You've done enough.
Yeah.
You've done so much.
Yeah. I'm sending you PodPing keys, okay?
Thank you. Please do.
Yeah, get that. That would be great. I mean,
please do that. I will. I'm publicly committing to doing it.
It would be great if
so easy.
Yeah,
Dan.
and to have that working and to have your spoolers stuff change and work the way you expect it in the new podcast apps? That would be pretty cool. I think it's interesting.
If you do, so here, if you put in PodPing, so where you're just sending a GET request to the PodPing cloud system every time a feed changes. If you do that, then what I can do is I can set it up to where we will push back out a web sub subscription, like a web sub ping also, if you want to do it that way. And then you can kind of get double bang for your buck. We'll just do it that way.
Let's make it happen. Love it.
All right, cool. All right, I'll send you those keys this afternoon.
Dave, everything cool with you, man?
Yeah, doing good. Yeah, doing fine. We got was going to try to have a dev meeting tomorrow at 12 Central, I think. And so we're
that's right. Yeah. Oh, I should be able to dial in for that.
We're gonna try to discuss the recommendations tag a little bit, because we need that thing's complicated. And we need to talk that out.
Excellent. And if you want to intern for Dave Jones, if you want some great...
or Dan Benjamin.
Yeah, I could use one too.
All right, send everything to adam@podcastindex.org, and I will sort through everything and make sure that you are the right candidate for zero pay and maximum exposure. All right, guys, thanks so much. Thank you, Dan. All right, Dave, I'll talk to you.
Thanks again.
We'll see you next week, everybody, right here, Podcasting 2.0.
You have been listening to Podcasting 2.0. Visit podcastindex.org for more information.
Go podcasting!
Boost.